Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Nights. You know why we're here. Patrons, patreon.com slash Nexus at Night. Thanks Darren, Cole, and Josh. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And I'm Rice.
And I had a joke planned, and I'm so excited for this episode that I forgot all of it.
Oh, no.
It was a parody of Lou Bega's Mambo Number 5, and you don't really have to hear it because it's terrible, so...
Excellent. I don't want to hear it anyway.
Good. So, as you know, the entire internet is on fire about. We are talking about the new Banlist for premium format that has been released and goes into effect. Like what? Who cares now? Like,
Did they do anything? Was it no changes?
no, they dropped this is if General MacArthur got Harry Truman to nuke Korea and it actually happened, everything. They nuked everything.
Yeah, there's only a few cards on here that I was like I agree with most of it. I think there's a couple cards on here that I'm like, I could have gone either way on, honestly. But I'm willing to accept them being gone for the list being how it is.
Yeah. Let's see. So we're gonna go buy a little bit at a time, because they have these nice convenient boxes that allow us to cover two.
Yeah, everyone saw the stream. Don't worry.
Yeah. So, I guess why don't we start with the now choice restriction between Zeroth Dragon Ultima, the United Sanctuary one, and Overtriggers.
This is, I mean, I think this is the only Zeroth Dragon that's particularly a problem, right?
Yeah.
Because this one is much more set up than the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Ultima is definitely a card that has increased in stock over Premium's lifespan.
Definitely.
Because the card is actually bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maximum stonks.
yeah.
Definitely. Because remember when it came out and we were like, that's okay, I guess?
We were like, it's good. It calls the board, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you can stack the Overtrigger, right?
Yeah.
Means this one is particularly obnoxious.
Definitely. And you can also speed your way to this depending what the deck is.
Right. So, I mean, I just think this is just a good hit.
Yeah.
This is, obviously, I think Overtrigger, I would have been okay if, the Overtrigger just was banned in Premium or whatever, but I think this is also, I suspect that the Overtriggers will become a problem again at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, we'll talk more about this. Decks like OTT will want to pick the Overtrigger, where some other decks might want to pick Ultima, right? So, I actually think this choice restriction does, in fact, do something.
Well, even then, considering the following, because you literally can just be depending on what situation you're in, it's a free let me just smack you.
Right. But if you're playing a deck like OTT, the Overtrigger can just happen.
Yeah.
Root beer?
So I think it's a good change. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good change, and then, obviously, aside from being able to stack the trigger, also giving the over-trigger effect to everything.
Yeah, that was... That happened to me exactly once. Played some games against Richard a couple weeks ago, and I was like, that's the opposite of fun. That was... Because, just search it out of the deck and then clap your face with it. Good stuff.
And then if we want a meme, he can Zeroth can use all 6 over triggers if someone's still playing Geese this day and age.
Oh. I didn't even think of it that way. That's man, fuck you. Thanks for putting that idea in my head. The next choice restriction, I can't remember what these things do, and I will leave that up to Rice and Root Beer to explain, because I can't remember who does what.
For what now?
For Bermuda Triangle, the choice
Oh.
restrict?
Okay, so Fina has a skill that says act. You can Soul Blast 2, and all of your on-hit effects activate even when they don't hit. And Potpourri says GB1. When it hits a Vanguard, you can return something in the hand. If it's in Harmony, call it back. So if you had 2 of these, you could just loop them infinitely.
Ah.
Yeah, so it seems to be on this ban list that they're trying to hit every loop. Yeah. Every single... I think they missed some, but they're table 500 loops, so nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
table 500 loops, which is shit that's so inconsistent.
Because they're just like not really like worth concerning yourself over, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like they're like beaten by like a single defensive trigger, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so pretty straightforward reason for that. Good. Yes. All right.
Yeah. It's fine. I'm not really that worried about it.
Meanwhile, King of Mass, the reason why that got an immediate ban, that the fact that Mori had to come out, it was like, wait a minute, what does King of Mass Centurion do? When you would call a Guardian, you can call a grade 2 or greater from your soul. What's the problem? That card's a grade 3. I'm going to block for infinity.
Wait, what does the grade 2 do?
If I remember correctly, like, when it's called, like, you get, like, a bunch of power per cards in soul. So basically, Dentarian, there's a combo where you can literally just be like, I'm good.
So it's like if your soul has 7 or more cards, it gets shield plus 5k. Bigger thing is like when it's retired from card circle, you put it into soul, so you can just keep calling it in and out with Dantarian.
Oh, okay, yeah, that also tracks. So that's good. Third thing, choice restrictions. So before we had between Jumping Jill and Purple Trapezist, who could infinite loop with each other. Now, the interesting thing, I swear to God, if I keep getting Facebook messages, I'm going to fucking lose my shit.
Just mute the chat. I
know, that's what I'm doing, but just, like, now that's when Jaime decides to start going off.
Yes.
Anyway, so, Purple Trapezist and Jumping Jill could live with each other. There is now a choice restriction between those two and Flying Paraton, who on play Soul Charge calls something in the same column as him.
I'm pretty sure that just bans Trapezist, right?
Yeah, more or less. Because based on testing that I've done so far, Paraton is important for making a board on his own, because Pale Moon needs cards that like help expand your board instead of just like reset it. So you are almost always going to choose Paraton, maybe Jumping Jill. Purple Trapezist is kind of, it's not going to happen. Yeah, like you can still use it. If Pale Moon gets more stuff that allows you to make boards out of nothing, then yeah, you can bring back Perps. But it was like a very roundabout way of doing it. I think it's important in terms of deck building, because now you have to make that choice of, do I want something that makes my board bigger, or do I want something that helps me reset my columns?
I think going forward in testing, it just depends on what direction you want to take your build.
Yeah, no, definitely. There are lots of other cards that, call out of soul aside from themselves, but none of them are quite as cheap as Paraton. You have Crescent Moon Juggler, who's Counterblast, Soul Blast to do the thing. You have TriStar, which is like Soul Blast called to the same column. Paraton is the only one that gets you a plus and then another plus. So
free real estate.
Yeah, it is quite literally free real estate. Like that's what I would do in the Harry build for a long time. Was you would go call Paraton, call Perps put Paraton back in, call it out on the other side, call a new column. Like it was so good on its own. And I honestly didn't expect them to bring this up. I thought it was going to fly under the radar, but I think they just did that as like hedging their bets here.
Right.
So, smart decision, and this is coming from a Pale Moon player.
So past this point, the cards are all just gone.
Yeah.
Like you are just no longer allowed to play the next 11 cards that we name.
I am so happy.
So I was expecting a very minimal list, and we got one that's much bigger than I would have ever anticipated. And like to start off, Zazan or Zarzan and Temposphere are gone. You can no longer play those cards.
No,
evil has been defeated.
This does several things, right? This is so hitting Temposphere basically takes away this really dumb like game, right, where everyone's playing like some like weird amount of vanillas and like just trying to get GB before they're actually like able to stride, right? It's incredibly frustrating, super annoying. And Zazan was still like a problem in the same way that like even though it's at 1, it's just like sometimes the game is just like absurdly hard.
Well, because you would have decks that could just search it from anywhere. Oh, Columbard, foolish, and then call it. Conroe, search from deck.
No, the worst one. That's not. Yeah, so Columbard is one annoying thing, right? But also Genesis.
Right. Yeah.
Which was super frustrating. Probably the most frustrating one, honestly.
Yes.
And then we have Shadow Paladin Freezing Witch Bendy, which is the superior ride for Phantom Blaster Dragon that came in, that was part of the Luard problem.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, finally, after all this time, Goddess of Sound Sleep, Taro.
It only took them, 7 years?
Yeah, I mean, like, Taro was, okay, not a huge issue for a lot of the time in G era, even though I still hated that card, but it definitely became a huge, huge issue as we got later and later.
Yeah.
You went from needing to know how to do the Wise Man loop, which took skill, to I'm just gonna meme with poets.
Yeah, pretty much. Chris pointed out to us that basically everything that was released in the Revival Collection was to help you do Taro's loop and Wiseman loop related stuff, and now pretty much all of it is dead because a lot of people were expecting this thing to be put to 1 as okay, you slow it down a lot. No, they just gone, axe to the face, gone.
I think I think it needed to just be gone personally.
Yeah,
I think it's just too freaking obnoxious.
It's too abusable.
Its effect is also much too powerful.
Just
let me just Taro and Gilja for 5 minutes.
So yeah.
Yep.
Vanilla Engine dead, Superior Eye dead, and Taro dead.
Yes. That is quite nice. The next thing, so Jamio Congo, dead.
Finally. I hate this card.
Yeah.
This card is such bad, horrid design, really.
What, just, you gotta discard till you have 4. Because, in Premium, your hands get to, 10, 11, 12 cards, easily.
Yeah. This card's just so lame.
Yeah.
And then also... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in V Premium, it kind of made more sense because the hand sizes were smaller and that felt more balanced. But with Premium, them kind of embracing the fact that your advantage engines go fucking wackadoo, being able to cut that down by a third was just too good.
Yeah.
For free, by the way.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, even before, let me go Jamio, Tribash, Shrine into Drachma, lol, there goes your hand board.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Rice, aside from
No,
that? Oh, that was the thing.
Renee's lame, but this card is even lamer.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd rather get Daihos on Renee now than deal with Jamio.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how good the Daihozan stuff is. We'll find out, I suppose.
Yeah, and speaking of ninja stuff, so Nue Dio, gone.
Finally. This card, there's no defense of this card. None. Zero.
No.
Some idiots on Twitter were saying you should choice restrict this in Hyuga, and it's no, just kill the problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't wait for something else.
The problem is that Murakumo sucked for so long.
Yes.
That they had to make something this good to make it competitive, and just
the problem was Hugo was already a problem child as it is. Expanding on it in a already at the time it came out toxic format was just really bushy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was incredibly lame.
Mm-hmm. And then there was also the other thing that is gone is this grade 1 Shadow Stitch, which I forgot what the exact effect is.
So basically it recycles units and gives 3K. It's used in a very intricate loop that needs to fulfill a bunch of conditions in order to hit over anything.
Okay.
It's a very, very bad loop, but it's a loop.
Got
Mm-hmm.
it.
It's
Dragon
a
loop
super
dead.
bad. It's a super bad loop.
Yeah.
It's it wasn't good. It wasn't even good before all this nonsense.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Potpourri loop also wasn't very good because that card can't hit numbers, but...
Yeah, I saw somebody earlier say that it was a problem today, but they had no evidence to back it up when pressed. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, the only way that would work is if you had 2 4 circles.
It needs 5 cards or 6 cards or something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's an absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Setup.
I don't think I don't think the Tombow loop was like anything anyone was talking about.
Nope, they're just hitting it because it's another loop.
Yep.
It's very, very easy kneecap. The last one in this box, like, kind of surprised me, but I hate Link Joker the way Bobby Kennedy hates Fidel Castro, so... yeah, Zinc for Star Invaders, which is if you have a Chaos Vanguard countercharge 2, Soul Charge 2 by putting it in Soul. And I assume they did this just to slow the deck down. Like, what was the point exactly?
So yeah, Chaos is a very late game deck, as we've seen with Deluge, Crisis, and the rest of his shenanigans that he knew. They wanted to slow down the potential deck from also high rolling on people and then just styling on people as far as just getting locks off and like making the game miserable. Yeah. They want to make the game enjoyable. They know a lot of people in the community have mixed feelings about locks. So they're like, slap on the wrist.
You know what? Conspiracy theory time. It could also be because they just made a bunch of reverse units.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
We'll find out actually, but I hope to see when they release the document. I guess we'll see. This one is one of the ones that confused me as well. I was like, huh. But this is a very important card for Chaos, though.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like it's definitely not nothing.
Yeah.
Here's the
At the time of recording, I'm just gonna call it. They're probably gonna make a V-Zinc.
Maybe.
Like, okay, I remember when this card first got released. Whenever what was it, BT-15 or something?
Like a PR or something, right?
No, it was just a common in the set.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember being so pissed off because I was playing Pale Moon, which at the time had like no countercharge whatsoever. And I was like, why the fuck does this thing get to just shove in Soul for countercharge 2? Why? Like,
important character plays that clan, not your clan thing.
Yeah, exactly. Moonlit Dragonfang, GBT05. That's where this thing came from. It was a comment.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get bodied.
Yeah, I think you can go back and listen to that episode and watch me go off because fuck Chaos. So hard.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, no. Before we get to the next card, I just have an announcement to make.
Yeah.
Ding dong, the bishop's dead. The bishop's dead. The bishop's dead.
Ding dong,
it's true.
Bishop bitch is dead. Yeah.
Finally, it's freaking gone.
Fourth time was the charm.
Nope.
Here's my favorite.
Can't dodge every ban list.
My favorite thing is the TIE Fighter put out a tweet a couple hours ago where it says Gastile's new job, and it is a picture of a can of Coke on top of his copy of Gastile.
I remember a few days ago people were saying they shouldn't ban Gastile because they're reprinting it. I'm like, that's the dumbest take I've ever heard.
No.
Also,
meanwhile, laughing Taro.
Imagine thinking an English-only reprint is going to affect Bushi JP.
Because, like, okay.
Also Konami.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where that meme came from. But, like, okay, the problem with this card is it searches any two cards and then just becomes them for the turn.
Yeah. Like, anytime they print a Dark States card or a Dark Irregular card, like, this card becomes a problem.
Now, I need to say something important here. Dark Irregulars is not dead.
Of course
not. No, not at all.
They have so many good cards. Like, what are people smoking?
I would also like to point out that Enigmatic Assassin is still at 1.
Yep. Still around.
And you can indeed, yeah. So I see some people like playing NLK, just doing different things. But I think NLK is kind of the most enticing one at the current moment.
So I was talking to one of our guys on Proof Score server. He's Rid or Andrew. He tops back in G, a qualifier. NLK Borrow Turbo still going to be a thing with the Heal Guardians. So
Borrow
shenanigans
looks good too.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't with Borrow, you don't really need grade 4 Shara anymore because he's like, cool, I can do it turn earlier.
Yeah. Your G zone is an absolute mess though.
Well, yeah, our G zone goes from we're gonna kill you first try to utility.
Yeah, I think for now, like when you're figuring out G zone for like these basically new decks, you just like pretend you have everything and just like figure out what you actually want to use. Just like whatever.
Yeah. look, I'm just glad they did this. DIs have
get out of here.
so many other good strides, and like this, the problem with this, and like there are a couple others, like Pale Moon has what's her face, Dark Lord Princess, who just becomes any other stride so you're always gonna go into her.
Who? All I know is Harry Extender.
Yeah, that's her. She's the Harry Extender. But Gastile was basically the same way, except you never went into anything else. You would just he became whatever was in your deck.
Count to 15, clap them cheeks.
Yep. That needs to be a T-shirt or something.
So, to the surprise of no one as well, Songster's gone.
Yep, it's a loop.
Yeah, so they're, again, killing every loop. So, another one off the table.
Yeah. I don't think anybody who ever played Songster was like, I'm taking this to the regional, and I'm going to play the most consistent version of it. No. The people are just like, this is a loop you can do. And they're like, oh, okay. And then that was it.
Yeah, I think Derek Dow at BCF wasn't playing it.
Yeah.
Or the online one.
I'm not sure.
I think he was not playing Songster, but he was playing a more Harry focused Pale Moon, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure his list is laying around.
That's what I've been fooling around with recently is Harry V series. It's been interesting. And then lastly, this other Bermuda card. Take it away.
And this one just lets you stride when you're at grade 2.
Oh, yeah. All right, fuck that shit. That's
So, I would like to notice that they've banned every card that lets you stride early.
Mm-hmm.
Except, I think there's a Gold Paladin card.
There are lots of Gold
Grip
Paladin
dodge.
cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think it's like a Gold Paladin stride that you could just counterblast to and stride it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need it's I think you got to be on an Ezel or something. Spear X, I think it's called.
oh, those advanced for a Spear Cross, yeah, that thing's
Not
Yeah,
good.
Ezel definitely seems strong. Ezel, I obviously got hit a lot before, but is mostly obviously I guess Ultima affects them, but mostly
Untouched.
Yeah, and OTT is pretty light on hits, and Grand Blue is pretty light on hits.
Mm-hmm.
So Grand Blue is kind of Grand Blue, Ezel are kind of my big eyeball decks, I think,
Yeah.
coming out of this ban list. Oh, we forgot to update the rule on stand trigger. So if stand trigger stands something, that unit can no longer perform a drive check when it stands a rear guard. So basically, if you stand your vision token, it can no longer perform drive checks.
Yeah, or your
So-
Valkyrian.
yes, that's why going forward, you're going to see people now swinging with the rear guards first. They hit the stand, they'll finish the drive check, but after that, done.
But that's good.
So this is good. This is a clean way without having to errata every card in the game.
Mm-hmm. It was either that or start banning every stand trigger, which probably not.
No, that would kill a lot of decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that, and it's so easy to just be like, okay, in the rule book, we now have this thing.
Yeah, there are some decks that need their stands, but they hit the one stand that's a huge issue right now. I think Kruk is still banned, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, she should be.
Believe so.
And because Novas needs a fair amount of stands too, right?
I
They
think
need
so.
all their stands at this point right now with Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got I think banning stand or limiting stands even would be pretty bad. But yeah. Otherwise I think this list is, like I said, much more than I could have ever hoped for.
Yeah.
I expected something much more minimal. It's possible that even if there are a couple misses, let's say the format just becomes Grand Blue's unbeatable for whatever reason, right? At least the Zazan hit is something.
It's
there.
so important.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Something is going to rise to the top. That's how ban lists work.
It just needs to be reasonably it just needs to there just needs to be play against it, right?
Yeah. I think you're gonna have decks now that we also have some D cards that make the early game more aggressive, and also now where they've quit making GB so easy to get around with Zazan and Tempest Sphere, you can now you're split into these two kinds of decks where you have your stride in like more late game focused decks, and you might have like earlier game stuff. Maybe there's some kind of like Aqua Force aggressive thing turned to. Maybe Grand Blue has something going there. I think you're gonna have like decks going in all directions with so much more play and card like game design, deck design that it's gonna take a while. I think we're gonna have like this kind of Benny Hill running around for a little bit, and then something's gonna come out of it.
In the words of the wise, give it 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure what it's gonna be. I know that I am gonna stay off Great Nature for a while because restanding Talented Rhinos doesn't kill anymore. So I'm gonna screw around with Pale Moon and maybe Grand Blue and see what we got. Are you guys excited to try anything new, or?
Yeah, I can actually play games against people now without being like, oh, I don't want to play against that dick.
One at a time here. Rice, you first.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, as I made the Twitter post, it was like, you still get banned. Everyone wants to message me to play premium. Huh, so this is like what it's like to have friends.
Look, the steal is very lame, right?
Yeah.
And like when people played premium before, like they really just didn't want to play against like the lame decks, basically, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm trying to play premium, but not exclude like these like lame decks. But now that like most of them are like gone, you're just like, all right, now we can like reasonably play.
The face when all the tier 2 decks become tier 1.
We don't even know that. But I think, like I said, Azul is definitely like a deck to look at. Grand Blue's obviously up there. I think OTT has, because Calico was somehow not somehow evaded all of this.
Didn't Calico get a Rata?
Yeah, then Calico
No,
already did
be,
like.
It can no longer be your starting Vanguard, but you can still play 4 of it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like that still exists with Amaterasu, but like since Zarzan got hit, you're not doing it at like grade 1, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, you're not. You don't have the consistency to like keep it up.
Yeah. And now that like Tempest Spear's gone, there's less of like you can never deal damage to your opponent, right?
Mhm.
Which is like I don't mind when like damage deny is like a strat against like a lot of decks. Like for example, if you're playing against like NLK, right? You're gonna be like thinking about that now, right? But like obviously Heal Guardians are like gonna be a thing, but like it's something that it's like, but it's not like the only way to play, right? It's not like it's not like correct against everything.
Yeah.
Which is what kind of the problem was before.
I noticed they also didn't hit the Heat one that makes you attack Vanguard.
Oh, yeah, I was about to mention, Holong's still here if people want to be damage deny, be cheeky.
So, yeah, but it's a little worse now that Sphere's gone. Because now, like, there's not really, like, you need to have a huge payoff and a way to, like, consistently get Hoan, right?
Yeah.
So I think the card is, like, less bad now, because now it's, like there's not, like, a huge benefit to playing it.
Bad as in, like, broken, right?
Because, like, yeah, so I would want if Sphere were still around, I would definitely want it gone. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Sphere's not around, so I'm like, whatever.
The payoff for Hoam's payoff was Sphere, and Sphere's payoff was GB. So by you broke the chain. Yeah.
It just had to be hit. Like somewhere in that line had to be hit.
Yeah. Good.
And then also, when in doubt, Bobo out.
Wait, when in doubt, what?
Bobo out.
Oh, Bobo. Yeah.
Yeah, Bobo's GB1, so I think that card is fine.
Yep.
But like, yeah, I think I'm really impressed with the list. Actually,
Yeah.
It's almost like they listened.
And they got a new team or something, and they're like okay with hitting stuff.
Yeah, I saw there was a Japanese poster like kind of like making fun of the ban list, saying like I don't really understand why like the change to like the Vision Token or Valk. It's like those, and they like kind of refer to them as like bad decks, but like Japan doesn't play premium. What do they care?
So, I've been following a couple of Japanese premium people just to see like if they know what's around and what's aware. 50% to 75% don't understand why certain decks were a problem, or like certain things, they just looked at it and go like, oh, this is not a fun deck. I'm not going to play it. So that kind of worked out in their favor. But as even Maury said on Twitter, is like, yeah, before everyone goes hullabaloo on the east side, let's actually take a look at the west, because this is something they're adamant about, that we need to show you the data for everything, which I think is cool.
Yeah. I think it's fine that, like, you know, like, obviously, like, Japan kind of, like, dumped premium pretty quickly in favor of, like, a lot of the standard or elsewhere. But, like, I think that's fine, right? Like, you know, you just kind of play, like, the newest stuff. But, like, I think premium is something that, you know, is, we want to exist in a form that is palatable. And I think this ban list is a good start. Like, it might not be the end of it, right? But this shows that they're willing to do the things they need to do. If, like, Gastille lived another list, say, I would just assume that Bushiroad will never be willing to do what they need to do.
Was Gastille just, like, kind of the poster child where, like, that's the thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's been around for how long?
Yeah.
Like,
it's gotten away with it because it was never the worst thing, right?
Yeah.
It should have been banned
just
with. It should have been banned with
escaping
Katrina.
by.
It should have been banned with Katrina, straight up.
Literally, it was escaping by. And I'm pretty sure if it was banned at the time Katrina, our metagame would have been completely different.
Yeah, there's so many neat decks now that I kind of want to, like, mess around with. Like, again, I was watching some people test some Gear Chronicle.
Oh, gears are looking strong.
Dimension Police.
Oh, once we get Daikaiser in English.
Right?
Speaking of
Geomaglass is a nonsense.
Geomaglass is nonsense.
Yeah, and, you know, you have extra grade 3s because it heals.
Let me
Which is
just
very
punch
cool and
with
good.
justice.
Or
Even also, like, looking, Proof just theory crafting V hybrid Hellheart 8 and just Hellheart 8 being like, hey, I'm still here, guys.
Oh yeah, I need a copy Proof list whenever he comes up with something.
There's been rumors floating around that you could just Rising Nova copy Bruce and then profit, I guess.
Oh, it's a cheap
don't-
the list actually.
I forgot.
Something I want to bring up actually before we forget. For right now, I think I'm gonna play like a split of like grade 1 PGs and grade 0 PGs, mostly due to OTT. Because if they have Silent Tom, like the OG Silent Tom,
Yeah.
you're like pretty boned if you're playing grade 0 PGs, right?
Yeah. Is Silent Tom? Is the OG Silent Tom
Oh my
only
God.
no zeros from hand?
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, but still.
Okay. No, I'm just wondering because like in Pillman, I can G guard from
Yeah,
Soul.
I don't
so.
care.
Okay, just saying. All right, rubbing it in your face, whatever.
Well, even then, there's going to be that one situation where all you have is zeros in your hand. You're going to be like, well,
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So I just want to see like some variants of things.
Yeah,
But
I am
I'm
so
interested
excited
in
to
spike
see.
shenanigans for sure.
Did you say like I heard you earlier this afternoon? You were like wondering what to cut for the overtrigger in Tachikaze.
That's right.
Do you have ideas? Are you working on something?
So right now I cut a Soel Magnum,
Yeah,
a Scylla Magnum or whatever.
Koala Magnum, something.
So
yeah.
I have 3 of them, and then I'm playing a 2-2 split of the Go into Soul crit and the fodder crit because I have 8 grade 3s already in the deck. So having 2 fodder crit is like reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know. That deck's kind of like you just kind of build it one way, right? Nothing really changed except like I had to fit this. I can't wait to trigger the Dragon Empire Overtrigger like as my first attack. It's gonna be beautiful.
Speaking of like just Silent Tom and just premium output and everything, borrow Baleful Repressor.
Oh
I
man,
could do that.
Baleful Repressor.
Can you really afford to run that card though?
I mean, if you can survive GB2, yeah, like you just go straight into Malam and just like try to choke him out.
Are you hoping you get GB2 and DI?
I know. Well,
Just
the jokes,
NLK,
right?
just NLK people. Come on, what's the problem?
Just NLK 5 head.
Yeah, it's this issue.
I mean, we all because the thing is, people forget we can also NOK Rhodia just to be cheeky.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could just deny stride with that. Rhodia still got it.
The rest of the episode is just us gonna be like, yeah, so this is what I'm gonna do with my deck, and then it's gonna be awesome, and I'm gonna win and stuff. Like, it just.
Oh no, I don't plan to do that at all.
Oh man.
No, I'm just here to have fun
Yeah,
at people's expense.
That's
right?
the fun.
I haven't thought of premium formats in so fucking long now.
Me neither.
My brain.
Is there like
literally-
anything I can do with the new Tetra Drive, even though it's like probably bad?
I don't know. I haven't even read
I'm
it.
pretty sure someone's gonna do something with it.
Yeah, I need to see what it does, because, like, I have this, like, really janky-ass Aquaforce that used, like, Naval Gazer as the grade 3 just because it got an Excel marker. So you can any generic-ass grade 3 that I can fit in there, I will. Maybe I can find a way to, like, if Tetra Drive is good, I can probably do something.
I mean,
like...
it's not good. You have to like minus a bunch, but it sure can restand twice.
Let's see.
mean, Atlas, if you really wanted to do it, you could play Premium Maelstrom now with all the new support.
That's true, I could. I could also, and hear me out on this, Flagbird.
Yeah, like Flagbird coming up is
Yeah.
gonna be something for premium.
Yeah. Flagbird or...
Having all of
or
the
Meg.
like good Aquaforce parts to make his skill easier is like pretty big.
Yeah, there's also this, like, there's this promo that was being passed out for Springfest. Hey, Matt, I mailed you something. Did you get it?
Oh no, where did you mail it to? You should
Whatever...
have told me you were mailing something because I just moved.
Ah, shit. Okay, so...
You can't just mail things.
I don't know. I didn't know. It was supposed to be a surprise. Whatever. It was some D-Police promo that I thought you would have liked. Anyway,
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll try to...
it's
find
not your
it.
fault. Like...
Yeah.
Neither of us were supposed to know it was supposed to be a surprise. Anyway, so there's this promo that Aquaforce got called Violence Brave Shooter, which is on rear at the end of the battle that it attacked a Vanguard if it's first battle. Counterblast, put it on bottom of deck, check top 3, call something to an additional rear, and put the rest on bottom. Which is, like, interesting, and something I want to try, but I don't know how to make that work, and also you can't do that with Flagbird, so...
Hold on, let me check something real quick as I'm talking to myself, because I just thought of something, and I'm bad for thinking of this, but it's pretty funny. So, considering the following, like, what decks were on the watch list for the longest time before they got blown out of the water back in the day?
Why, did they put out another watch list, or...
No, I'm just saying, just like decks that we know of that we should be keeping an eye of. Just
Oh!
like,
keep an eye on Ezel. I think that's going to be the thing now. Like it was already kind of a problem. I think you still want to keep an eye on DI. Keep an eye on Grand Blue, and I'm not really sure who else. Narukami. Is Narukami doing anything?
I mean, VMAX, yeah.
Okay, so
Not VMAX, Full Bronto? I don't even remember their names.
yeah.
Definitely not VMAX.
I was like, wait, wrong stride. Standard plus Narukami is still going to be a thing. No, I was just making a joke about, like, I guess, like, thinking about this is
Narukami could do
overwhelming.
something. Consider
Yeah.
their new stride, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here,
Oh my god, overthinking about all this is bugging me. I guess I feel overwhelmed.
Well, yeah, because the possibilities are endless. So,
I would make a call in the joke.
also another thing, I didn't think of Meta Colony.
I mean,
How do they
Alterandus
win, though? How does Mega Colony win? That's my biggest problem with Mega Colony. How do they win?
Don't look at me.
Like, what? You're going to draw a billion cards and then what?
I mean, Gerdora won the Worlds like a couple years ago.
yeah,
yeah,
because it was
somehow.
the anti-Ezel. Like, it was made to counter one
It wasn't
specific
even,
deck.
I don't even think it was that good in Dazzle, but whatever. I just think, like, it worked out, right? The World's also, like I don't know, like, I'm not going to use that Worlds for anything, but, like, how does that deck actually win games?
I think you out tempo your opponent with Overwhelm and Alterandus,
Okay. And?
and then that's it until we get
how do you deal with it? Do you just Antline Zoa, I guess?
Pretty much. That's bugs.
Stride
That's
4 TB8s.
welcome to bugs. That's all they do.
God, bugs are so trash.
I mean, we got Garappa. Hopefully that helps the Venom Stinger.
Yeah.
Even though it's slow.
I like how every Mega Colony list, even in Premium, starts with 4 Mantis.
Because Mantis is free.
Yeah.
Mantis is in the one that gives 5k, or
Wait, which Mantis do you take?
I don't know. Like, there's the Mantis from D that's like unplayed, gives something 5k.
I was talking about machining Mantis because you need such a
yeah.
great through targets.
Yes, that is important.
It's
yeah.
like Wuxi was like, "Hey, let's look at D, please." Okay, now let's make it bad. Welcome to Mega Colony.
Welcome to Mega Colony, where everything's made up and the grade 3s suck. Okay, so Matt, the thing that I mailed you, I guess, to your old place is in the chat there.
Oh, I have to open Skype chat? God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh.
This thing. Because, like, our locals was like, dude, we have too many of them. Just take some.
Oh, yeah, this card exists.
Okay, so it doesn't matter then. It's not super important.
No.
Okay.
This card
Okay.
gives your opponent choices, right?
Yeah.
I hate giving my opponent choices, even if it's one choice.
Yeah.
No, it's bad. I'm not like I forgot what card it was, but there's a couple of cards in like Magic or something where like both players draw a card or something. Like, no, all for me.
It's very American of you. So I guess a good way to close out the episode would be, what are you working on for Premium, if anything? Yeah, we already said what our watch list is. So, Rice, if you want to go first.
So as far as things to consider, we got Chaos because all the new support that's coming out in Infinite Zero. It's going to turbo out. Just you wait. Grand Blues are going to be strong enough. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more shenanigans depending on set 4 for Overdress. Because Zorga is probably going to like get like some secret tech. Orders are pretty cool for Grand Blue, but even then, like the deck still accelerates pretty good. Colomard is just absurd, and just how well the combos worked out. Night Rose is just hey. Other decks to consider. I just say everything except for Murakumo. Even Murakumo is like gonna be like, if Shirayuki gets more support, that deck's just gonna be a stall deck. It's too early to predict. Like I say, I give it the 2 weeks theory. People are gonna play.
I would not work on Murakumo if I were you.
That's fair.
Murakumo's G support is so atrocious,
Yeah.
and every single good card they've gotten since has been bad.
That's why you play B plus at this point.
Yeah, but even so, right? Like, you're basically just playing for Shirayuki, which is not good enough. So,
Yep.
I would not focus on Murakumo. I would do whatever. So if Murakumo is your top option, I would go to your second option, and unless your second option doesn't exist, I think I would go for your second option.
What's really sad is you might even like this is a joke, and if this actually tops, I will literally eat a foot of chain. If you build some Eugene Shirayuki hybrid for premium and it works.
Eugene doesn't exist.
Eugene is not a real card. Stop.
All right, I'm gonna. What if you Hyuga Trickstar, and then you overdress on like random units? Does that work?
I'm curious. Let's see.
I feel like it should because it only specifies name.
Yeah, it only specifies that it's Trickstar, right? So you Hyuga Trickstar, and then you should start overdressing on random things. Do not do this. It sounds awful.
The face
Would do
when
it
you
because it
your
sounds
whole board is
hilarious.
Valientes.
Let's see. Same
Because
grade.
nothing about Overdress says that it has to have Trickstar in its original name. It just says Trickstar.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised things that copy Trickstar is not a thing in D yet.
I'm sure they'll get to it at some point. So
Might still be too soon for that in D. Who knows?
Rice, you're working on Link Joker? That's what you're excited to build?
So I was waiting for the ban list. I was like, I'm going to commit to Chaos. I'm going to sell my DI stuff. Castile's going to dodge to the ban list, blah, blah, blah. Just straight doom or like straight like negativity, blah, blah. This ban list comes out. Literally, I threw Orphis against the wall. I'm like, all right, I don't need this anymore.
All right. Root Beer, are you excited to build anything?
I haven't thought of anything. I haven't thought about premium in a long time. The only thing I have is prisms, which is probably like fine, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be okay.
When the V collection comes out, I do want to try out Tetra Drive, even though I know it's going to be bad.
Okay. That's good.
At least you guys have playable grade 3s this coming of clan collections.
Yeah, I'm excited for that Beast Hammer thing so I can use it in Vimium, because that looks fun.
Basically, rip Murakumo and DI on Clan Collection 1 and 2.
Yeah. They've had it too good for too long. Okay, Murakumo hasn't, but DI's had it too good for too long.
Fair enough. We'll take the L, Reggie.
Yeah. And then, like I said before, Pale Moon, they revealed that they're bringing back Lox and Polaris, two cards with great aesthetics and terrible effects from the original series, and their teaser looks interesting, so I'm hoping that's good. So probably going to do something with that in Premium when the chance comes up. And that's kind of it. I have Grand Blue. I don't think I need to change anything for the most part. So, yeah. Matt, how about you?
Let's see. Tachi, I just kind of like adjusted slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't actually thrown the Overtrigger in there, so I just did that. And I guess I'm like just like gonna like mess around with spikes, but probably not do much else, honestly.
Okay. Still sounds like fun. Like,
not looking to spend $8,000 on premium cards.
yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just gonna
Surprisingly
stay in my lane for the most part.
Yeah, the only reason I'm even considering like Tetra Drive is because I already still have most of the old Blue Wave cards.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have most of the Pale Moon cards, like, just in general. Like, I have pretty much any version of the deck you could play. And I have, like, every Great Nature card ever. So, you know, that's cool. And here's hoping Polaris is good, because I like the way he looks. So, yeah, I guess to you, the listener, we asked, was
Surprised they didn't do Leopold reverse, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
That's probably going to be in 5 and 6.
Yeah, I guess they would. I guess they're just like splitting them up because not everything is getting a reverse unit this set.
Yeah. No, but literally, like, I've been looking on TCG players and stuff. Literally, if you're just buying, like, base rarity cards, the format's super affordable, thanks to the Revival Collection.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Crayon Tiger being $2 again? Mwah, good job.
The only thing I worried about is if you need Ultima, you're going to have to chunk and change. But that's about it.
You only need one of those, and it works in multiple decks, so might be worth it.
Yeah. Investments.
Yep. So, like I said, for the listener out there, do you think this ban list was a good one? Do you think there's anything they missed? Do you think there's anything they shouldn't have hit? You know, at Nexus at Night, Twitter, Instagram, let us know. Where can they find the rest of us, though? Like Rice, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at LOLChaos. I do a bunch of Castile shitposting, DI shitposting, and Tokusatsu shitposting while complaining about Starbucks.
And that's where that face came from, by the way. That's his face. His horrible, rictus brought on by a stroke face.
No, that's just the face true disciples of Castile can make.
Well done. And the rest of us?
Oh, you can find me, Matt, at Wiggums, 2Gs, 2Zs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
You can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or check out my other podcast at Generation Dan, same places. Actually, there's no Instagram, so just Generation Dan on Twitter. Yeah, if you want to help support the show, patreon.com/Nexus at Night. You get a whole ass bonus episode every week, and you get access to all that older bonus content. And thanks to our $10 patrons, Darren, Cole, and Josh, who not only get a shout-out, but they also get early access to videos, and this other thing that we're working on that you will see in the next few weeks. So, thanks everybody for listening, and until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm root beer.
And I'm still fried rice.
And have a good night, everybody.